Now let's take a look at some more examples of common factors. This is part 3. So some more examples. We have this right on your handout. Example 4. Let's cover this one up for now. Alright. Now what happens when you look at these terms, right, and there is no common factor among all of them, only among some of them? Well, we can factor by grouping. Right? We can factor these by grouping. Let's move this up a little more. So, for example, we look at this expression here. Right? And what's a common factor among these two? The first two terms of this expression? Well, A, right? So we can group these two. Right? What's a common factor among these two? 3. So we can group those two and factor them out, right? So let's take a look at this. So A, so let's factor out the A, right? What do we need to multiply the A in order to get AX? X, right? What do we need to multiply A in order to get AY? Positive Y, right? And then, next thing, let's factor out the 3, right? We already pointed that out, and this becomes also x plus y, right? 3 times x gives us 3x, 3 times y gives us 3y, right? Now we're at this point right now. A times x plus y plus 3 times x plus y. We look at this again, and we try to see, is there a common factor among these? Is there a common factor among these? Yes, this binomial, x plus y. So let's factor out the x plus y. So just like the previous examples, right? X plus y, open bracket, times what in order to get this expression? X plus y times what in order to get positive a times x plus y? Well, times positive a, right? This times this will give us that expression. A times x plus y will give us that. Plus 3, right? 3 times x plus y will give us this whole thing. And that's it. So we factor out this expression over here, expression over there, right? Right? Let's look at the next example, right? And that's this one. 4x squared plus 6xy plus 12y plus 8x. Alright? So make sure you take notes as you go along with this. Let's look at this one now. Same thing. And here, well, we can see that these two have something in common. That will be the x, right? They also have, what's common between the 4 and the 6? Well, the 2. Right? That will be the greatest common factor. And the same thing here, right? 4, right? Will be the greatest common factor among the coefficients. And then x plus y, well, among the variables, not many, right? So you can choose, depending on whatever you prefer, you can choose to group these two and factor out, in this case, the 2x, right? And then you can choose to group these two, and then you can factor out, in this case, it will be the 4, right? Or you can put this one, because you can see that there's a 4 there, there's an 8, right? You can group those two and factor out the 4, so then that will leave you with a nice, coefficient of 1 there. And you can also see that x is common, right? So we can choose to do that, and then we can choose to factor these two, because 6 and 12 as well, it would factor out nicely, and then the y's, right? So I'm gonna show you an example by grouping these two first, right? And then those two. And then you can try it out also in different ways, right? So let's just rewrite this question, right? 4x squared, and since I'm gonna group these two, we might as well put them together, right? 8 plus 8x, and then we have plus 6xy plus 12y. Now remember, no matter which ones you choose to group, in this case, you should expect the same result. Right? So, between these two, let's factor out. What's common between these two? The 4. Right? So, the 4. That's among the coefficients. The 4 is the greatest common factor, right? Now, let's look at the variables. X squared here and x. So, we're going to factor out the x, because it divides evenly into each of these two terms. So, 4x. Anything else? No, that's it. So, 4x times what in order to get 4x squared? Well, simply times x, right? 4x times x gives us 4x squared. 4x times what in order to get 8x? Well, plus 2, right? 4x times 2 gives us 8x. So we're done on that one, right? Let's move on to this one. Let's factor out. Let's start with the coefficients. We start with 6, right? So positive 6. And what else is common between these two? The y, right? Anything else? No, that's it. So 6y times what in order to get 6xy? Well, times x, right? Times in order to get positive 6xy, right? 6y times what in order to get 12y? Well, times positive 2, right? Now we got to this point and we can already see, is there something common between these two? Yes. That is the binomial x plus 2, x plus 2. So let's factor that out, right? And then we have 4x plus 6y, right? So x plus 2 times 4x will give us that expression. X plus 2 times 6y will give us that expression. All right, and that's it. We're done factoring this. There's also one more example in your handout, and I suggest you try completing that as well, and we'll take it up next time when we meet.